1972, Prabhupada was scheduled to come here. Authorities did not let Prabhupada in. He was stopped in the airport. My brother, he was in Sweden, and he handed me the books, Bhagavad-gita, Bhagavatam. That was my first contact with Prabhupada. And in 1976, October, I decided to give my life to Srila Prabhupada. And of course, after that, I subsequently got initiated by him in 1977. 1979, Ansadutta came. He was the GBC of this area, the Guru. And Ansadutta, he had some bad records, Actually, he was falling down. He was taking alcohol. And I saw that she's not in line with Prabhupada. Myself and Ansadutta, we had a showdown. He told me that either you surrender or you go back to your mothers. Prabhupada had come in my dream and told me that you come with me.
Hare Krishna. Today, we have the rare honor of hearing from a devotee whose life is deeply intertwined with the history of Krishna consciousness here in Singapore. Born in September 1955 in Singapore, His Grace Sundar Gopal Prabhu has spent over 50 years practicing Krishna consciousness. He is a direct disciple of His Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In the only country where Srila Prabhupada himself was denied entry, Krishna consciousness did not disappear. Through struggle, opposition, temple closures, and uncertainty, it endured. And much of that endurance is connected to his determination and service. He is the longest serving temple president in Singapore and played a key role in establishing and preserving the movement here. He also led the first temple to formally declare adherence to the Ritvik system of initiation, as instructed by Srila Prabhupada. He is a living encyclopedia of all Srila Prabhupada books. Though scholarly, he is merciful. He ensures that a person who listens to him, he transforms, takes up the process through the realizations that he has garnered through the staunch practice of devotional service for the last 50 years. Today he continues guiding devotees and temples across the globe. It's Australia, Malaysia, Philippines, Russia, England, France, Canada, and so forth. Out of a lot of requests and much of persuasion, he has kindly given us this opportunity to share all of his realizations, his journey, his ups, his lows, his highs, his achievements, his failures, his setbacks, and all of that is on your way. So stay tuned. And with a much appreciation and humility, I would like to bring on board and introduce you His Grace Sundar Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much for your kind and very, I would say, introduction. A small man trying to do my small service for Srila Prabhupada. Nevertheless, it was quite a journey. After 50 years, recollecting all that we had went through, I would say it was definitely an achievement that I would think that would please Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. A humble offering to his desire of wanting to have a temple here in Singapore.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. We are extremely honored again and want to take this opportunity to navigate the journey in episodes because it had been a journey for last 50 years. So we would logically break the session in all of your achievements chronologically. So to start off with, I would like to hear from the beginning. I think everybody would be very excited. It has never happened in any format, in media format, where you have come out and given us a complete and abridged edition of your entire story or of your entire journey. of Krishna consciousness. So we would like to hear it from the start. And with that, let's begin from 1971. If I'm able to coin the year properly, how was it that you got introduced to the process? And because you are born and brought up in Singapore, what was your first incident by which you got introduced to the process here in Singapore?
Actually, Prabhupada, in a letter dated is 4th November 1970, that he wanted to have two centers, one in Hong Kong and one in Singapore. So he kind of deputed his disciples, Bali Madan Prabhu. He was asked to come here to settle, to open two centers, because he found that there were two English-speaking areas that could service the base for pushing on Krishna consciousness in the region. So I believe that Bali Madan, he and met Amoga, both of them. Amoga is Australian, I think so, and Bali Madan is American, or maybe both of them were Americans. So they came here, I think, in early December maybe, and they were staying in the Perumal temple, Kalyanam Mandapam, the marriage hall.
Sure, yes.
And then they met a Chinese lady who offered them a place in Orchard Road, the Stephen Road actually, number 80 Stephen Road. So that's about 2-story bungalow. And they started their preaching activities from there. And in 1971, January, another two more devotees joined him. I think one is Anuman, and another one is Bhaktanyo.
Okay.
He's from Malaysia actually. He joined with
So total four.
four. Plus Bali Matan, Avoga, Hanuman, and I don't know, there's one more, Amoga. They sold, and Bhaktanyo, of course. So they started having programs in Singapore. They had a program in the university. They met they went to the university and they spoke. And also they were meeting people, especially the Sindhi community. That's where they were expanding the movement. Of course, I saw them in 1971 in February during the Thaipusam festival.
Okay.
They had a kirtan all the way, and I was inside the temple and I saw them, doing the kirtan.
So that was your first.
My first, and the thing that struck me was their hairstyle, because they had this shaven head with the sikha at the back. I said, hey, look, they look funny with the hair.
Sorry, bro. I'll just take a pause there. So people may not know what is Thaipusam. What exactly is Thaipusam?
Thaipusam is a Hindu festival, a local festival where they offer their offering to Lord Shiva or to Lord Muruga, So they carry the milk and they sometimes pierce their body with, spikes.
Okay.
In this way they torture themselves to carry their offering to offer to Lord Muruga, Shiva and all. So that's a festival that's been going on for a long time in Singapore. And they parade on the street, they walk on the street. So the streets are through parade.
Okay.
So the devotees took advantage of that to do the Harinam Sankirtan. And they naturally being white devotees, so they stand out like a conspicuous,
Sure.
very conspicuous. So their appearance attracted a lot of attention. And then they met one editor of the local newspaper, Tamil Malar, that's a local Tamil newspaper, and he kind of wrote an article inside.
So when you saw them, I'll just cycle it back. When you saw them in Thaipusam, What was your first reaction? What did you feel about?
I felt that they were strange,
Strange. Okay.
because there was no Hindu monk involved. And if they are, they always shave clean and. So they were a little bit, I would say, attracted to
It
that.
drew attention.
Yes.
Okay.
And then white devotees actually they stand out.
Right.
So I was impressed. I didn't have anything after that. Then that was my contact in 1971. And of course they were preaching and they, uh, you know, tried to organize the program. And in 1972, Prabhupada was scheduled to come here and do a program at the Kalyana Mandapam Hall, which one Jamuna Das, silly gentleman, organized for Prabhupada. So they were there at the airport to receive him. That was in 30th March 1972. And somehow or other the authorities did not let Prabhupada in. He was stopped in the airport, despite all the local members trying, say, somehow or other refuse entry. And Prabhupada had to then continue his journey to Sydney, and so there he went to Sydney, and of course he never came back to the island. And of course we others were a little disappointed.
But did the program happen?
No, the program they called off.
Okay.
He was supposed to stay in Singapore for 2 days,
Insane.
but it didn't materialize. Sad that Prabhupada, of course he did enter Singapore in that sense. He was in the airport. And I was working in that airport,
Oh,
1979 perhaps. Yes, 79. I was 78, 79. I was actually working on a project in the Paya Lebar Airport, international at that time. And I guess I must have passed the place where Prabhupada sat. That was my, I guess, good fortune, at least. So then, after Prabhupada was banned shortly, also the devotees were also, because of the news article from the Tamil Malar election, so the immigration officer, because our devotees cannot stay here very long, so they have to renew their stay, so they go to Malaysia and they come back here. So when they were coming back, and then the immigration officer said, looking at the article, are you Amoda? Are you no more?
okay.
Said, no, we don't want you to come inside. How are you going to maintain yourself? Krishna, he didn't like an answer. So he actually stopped them from coming in.
And they had short passes.
Yeah, because Singapore, you can only stay maximum a month or maybe.
Yeah.
So we have to go in and out of the country. So in one of their kind of a return journey here, they were subsequently stopped. So with that, the devotees were then concentrating on Malaysia, and with the lady Kamala Devi, who wanted to give some land to build a temple there in Kuala Lumpur.
So Prabhu, all of the 4 devotees who were here in Singapore, they were gradually asked to deport or leave.
I guess when they were not allowed in, actually they had to go somewhere.
And the recourse was Malaysia?
Then they took their preaching activity to Malaysia.
Neighborhood. I see. Okay.
Prabhupada did go to Malaysia, So he went to Kuala Lumpur, Telok Anson, Penang, the Port Dickson. In this way he was traveling all those places.
So when was the final curtains down, or let's say for the first wave of the set of 4 devotees who had come now to Singapore to initiate or to begin Krishna consciousness? Which was the year when everything stopped?
I think it was in 1971, sometime in March,
I see.
or could be February to March. So, but it's been unfortunate, they stopped their whole I guess that gave me the inspiration to, eventually.
Yes, and that is where my next question is. So when they left, did you manage to get association with any of the four devotees?
Yes, I got association with Bali Madan. Let's see. He was the one I met in Mayapur, on May Day 1993, 4, 5, sometime then.
Oh, so now my question is, when they were here in Singapore, did you get a chance to meet them before
I
they?
got chance to meet Bhakta Nyo. His initiated name was Lalita. Lalita, what? She? Or something Lalita. Very Lalita Madhu or Lalita, something.
Okay.
So I met him here in Singapore in 1975. He was here, back here. He was helping to preach also. Then again, I met him when I went to the States. I met him also in the States. That was in 1983, 84. I met him in Dallas, Texas. And eventually, I think he came around here, short trips. And when I was having our temple here, he
Yes.
come to.
So from 1971 to 75, what were your realizations since then? Because you just met in 1971 these four devotees singing in Thaipusam, having kirtan. And then what happened? Because you met Balivardhan Maharaj in 1975.
No, I met him in 1993, 4, 5, sometime
So-
when that was in Mayapur in India.
Yeah, so between 1971 to the next episode of exposure to Krishna consciousness,
I had no contact with anyone. Neither did I get any literature, nothing. That was just seeing them chanting. And after that I have no links.
so which was the next milestone, or let's say next incident that was very significant for you in the your journey to begin in Krishna consciousness?
I guess that's when my brother, he was in Sweden. He kind of got associated with the Hare Krishna there.
And in which year, Prabhuji?
That was in 75, 30 or late 74. So when he returned to Singapore in 1975, October, and he handed me the books, Bhagavad-gita, Bhagavatam, and maybe some Bhaktivedanta Swami. That was my first contact with Prabhupada through his books. And of course I started reading them, and in 1976, October, about 1 year, I decided to give my life to Srila Prabhupada.
76.
And of course, after that, I subsequently got initiated by him, 1977.
So, yeah. Sorry, I'll pause you a lot because there's so much there. So it's just the book that inspired you, and your convictions, started getting more and more firm into the process. But then you had no correspondence with Srila Prabhupada directly.
Not at that. No, we wrote one letter to Prabhupada for the initiation. Otherwise, we were corresponding with LA, BBT, and we were getting books from there. Because we started preaching, and as soon as you read the book.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we bought this Bhagavad-gita, I think you can see it behind me.
Yes.
And then we were distributing it, and trying to make the boobies.
Wow. Okay.
And not only, we also had programs. We used to go to the temples and do kirtan and at the same time preach.
And when you say we, it is who were there with you?
See, when 1975, when I got the book from my brother, then we were also corresponding with LA to get more books and all. We learned that there are two devotees that come from Australia to also try to revive the Krishna consciousness here. Their names were Vidyapati Das, they were Chinese, Malaysian Chinese, from I think Batu Pahat, okay, I'm not wrong. And we have Gary Embry, an Australian. you know. So they were both working here. Gary was a teacher, and Vidyapati was some kind of a electronic engineer. I think, I'm not wrong, he was working for Texas Instrument. Yes, at that time they
Okay.
were kind of electronic giant, you know.
Mm.
So while they were there, and we were also corresponding, somehow or other they came to our house and contacted us. And that was the beginning, and that happened maybe in 1975.
Wow. Tell us something more. Which are the areas and what were your preaching avenues? What were you doing when you just we were budding? You were starting off with inception, and then you're starting off. So, what were your endeavors? Tell us about that.
Because our preaching method was basically doing a Sunday program,
Now, okay.
which we know this two devotees had a place in Gardenia Road,
Sure.
17 Gardenia Road, that is near Thompson, you know.
In Singapore, yes.
Actually, it's Upper Thompson Road somewhere there. And we were gathering there every Sunday. All my family members, they were also devotees. My father, my mother, my 5 sisters, 1 brother. Of course, the other one was in Sweden. So all of us would go to that place. We have a Sunday program, and together with other guests that we were going to the local temple that distributing our books to introduce Krishna consciousness. So when we were doing Sunday program, and also we would go to the parks on Sunday morning to do some Harinam, you know, at the beach, especially the East Coast Park.
Publicly,
Publicly, yes. We're sitting down and chanting.
but I saw there's a quite operation in this. We are not allowed to sing publicly. But how come you amassed that?
At that time, we didn't have any problem.
Liberal. Okay.
They were not so strict in someone sitting down and chanting. So then, while we were doing that, to try to hand out some literature or someone who comes in. Then we were also doing, apart from that, we were also, as I said, going to the temple and distributing books. You know.
But with all of that, you had your own life to lead with, and you were, I think, in your prime. How did you even make that kind of a choice that your work, your finances, family, and all of that, and just like a freelancing devotee doing preaching activities full time? What was that?
You see, this Prabhupada always stressed on book distribution. That was our main thing, you know. So I was working in URA at that time, Urban Renewal Authority.
Yeah.
And that office was somewhere in downtown, you know. So in the lunchtime, I used to go down to the Robinson Road, at the main road in downtown.
Yeah.
And I would stand in one corner there and try to hand out books, you know,
After work?
during work.
During work?
I mean, lunchtime.
Exactly.
And then in the evening, when my work is finished, I used to go to the South Bridge Road temple, that one temple there. I think it is the Durga temple, I think. Mariamman temple, I remember. At South Bridge Road. I used to go there and also distribute books, you see.
Just alone?
Yeah, alone, yes. That was, I mean, especially with someone with no training, no nothing. It just simply just go and just, you know, approach people and, you know.
So what did you say? I'm just a bit curious. So I myself try to give some books to somebody. What did you say? What was your... I know you were you did read Bhagavad-gita then, but how much of the lesson you had that you could able to convince?
We try to give the book. Usually they take, then they, you know, I don't speak so much. At that time I did not know much. But if someone asks questions and all that, then we try to explain that you're not the body, you're spirit, so
Sure.
the seven of Krishna.
Okay.
That's itself is
And just by reading those slokas, you just start chanting also?
Yes, I was also chanting to my rounds, because when I heard that you must chant 16 rounds, and on that very day I did my 16 rounds. And also I started with 16 rounds.
Wow.
I did not do 1 round or 2 rounds.
Okay. So we have a gradual progression into the process. And how did the family take it? This transformation?
Well, of course, I was a little forceful, and it's God, we all are God fearing. So when they saw me, and I'd explain what we should do, and they all readily accepted it. I had no problem. All of them was, I guess they were all maybe devotees in the past. It was easy, the whole family kind of took the change, We stopped, we became vegetarians, and we started following the principle and started chanting. Of course, we did not do Mangala Arti and all that, because initially we did not know, but gradually we kind of got into all that, the rules, regulation, and then inviting people for prasadam. We're giving out prasadam every day.
And that's every day or on Sundays?
No, in my house we were giving prasadam to anybody.
Where was your house?
My house actually, I think you can see the Gelang, in Kalang. It's near the Kalang River,
Okay.
It was a quarters, because those days, all the workers, those government employers, they get quarters to stay. There was no HDB flat and all that.
Okay, you got the quarter because you were a government official.
No, my father
was.
He was working since the 50s,
Sure.
So we were staying there, and we were started using it as a place to,
Beach.
until we went to this place, Gardenia Road, where we officially announced as a
Senate.
to Sunday program and everything. So it was an early start. Things were good for us. It was kind of you were very enthusiastic because something to do, to speak about Krishna.
Yes.
Those days there were many other groups around,
When you say many other groups, you say
Yeah, the Sai Prabhu group was there,
Okay.
and
other religious.
Shiva family and so many people. They all were, doing their things. Because I attempted to get it registered in 1979, and of course it was not allowed.
Yes, we'll come back to that. There's so much before that coming in. For the students of Bhagavad-gita, and we know that your illustrious classes are testimony to how much you have, got a grip of all the Prabhupada books, and of course with proper realization. What is your most quintessential verse when that actually stuck and got you thinking, and you really had a paradigm shift?
I would say mostly it's Prabhupada's purports,
I see.
Because when I got the books from my brother, I started reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. So every time I read the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada in the purport would say, you must read the Bhagavad-gita first.
Easy.
I ignored that and I carried on, Second time again he said, you must read the Bhagavad-gita first. And finally, the third time when he said it, I kind of closed the Bhagavatam and started reading the Bhagavad-gita. And when I started reading the Bhagavad-gita, it was just like, he would say and I will do. He will say and I will do it. It's that kind of a mood I was in. So I was actually absorbing word for word all that he was kind of speaking,
Yes.
Because in those days, we didn't have tapes and pictures. That was not there. Computer was not there at all. It was just coming in that not everyone could have access to.
Yes.
And phone was out of the question. It was 10 over those phone, which you ring with the singer. And then in the early days, there was no technology to support this at this scale that we have now. So it was very inspiring because the books were the basis,
Yes.
And we were reading and we were trying to influence others, whoever we met, we tried to get us more support, expanding the
Yes.
knowledge. Of course, it was not like, we did not find someone as very enthusiastic as us, but there were challenges, Of course, I did not know all the background that they would stop in the airport, Prabhupada was not us, all these things. I did not know. So we were innocently trying to preach. In one incident in the Gardenia temple where we were doing our program, because you were chanting very loudly, our kirtans are definitely very loud here. And the neighbors were not happy. So they started making a group to kind of get us evicted,
Evicted, yes.
So then, as the man, this one Chinese man was leading the forefront, he apparently suffered a heart attack and he died.
Oh.
So when that happened, their so-called movement, it just fizzled out, So I guess it was Krishna's mercy on us.
Yeah.
Because he gave us inspiration that, kirtan is Krishna's,
Yes.
powerful,
Yes.
would say powerful activity to.
So can we just say that that was your first pushback, or people protesting that first?
Yeah, I can do because you were 1975, They just innocently were chanting.
And you were four of us. Four of us.
No, that four means four,
Brother.
Yes, four. But then later on, there some other devotees.
Families were in?
Family, yeah. Yeah, community about 20, 30 people. Sunday feast, you look forward to going there, that we have a chance to interact.
How did you find the people when you saw it? Were they receptive? Were they fertile? And you saw potential that there's so much that could be done in Singapore?
Well, I was not, I just wanted to make devotees, to open temple, I was not,
Sure.
I would say I was not familiar with all those 10 of your things that we have to do.
Yes.
We just wanted to preach and make devotees, and teach people about chanting Hare Krishna.
What was your next moment when you thought, I need to take the things to the next level? And when was it?
See, we were going on in that group and doing our preaching 1975, 76, 77, when Prabhupada left, 14 November 1977.
Yes.
So we started realizing that this Vidyapati and Derry Emery, they were not fully, interested in Prabhupada or ISKCON for the matter. They were following or trying to follow another person called Siddha Sarup. Siddha Sarup Swami. He was based in Hawaii, and he had gatherings in Philippines. So that's why he was distributing a book that Siddha Sarup printed, Who Am I? And I was also distributing book, but I did not know anything about this person. So when Prabhupada left, then, we started waking up. Guess when Prabhupada is there, everything is very nice and fine. But when he left, then others tried to take over the ship,
I see. But that is in 1977. You said that you had correspondence from, through letter.
We had corresponding with, I think in particular, the devotee called Nalini Kantadas. He was in the BBT of LA. That's where we get the books and everything. So he wrote to us and said, look, I am going to India. Would you like to get initiated? That was sometime in 1976.
And he knew what you were doing in Singapore.
Yes.
He had an
We
idea.
were preaching and we were trying to expand.
Right.
So when he wrote the letter, I didn't even know the meaning of initiation. What's this initiation? So I consulted this Vidyapati, and they were discouraging. They were not encouraging us to take initiations. So we were a little bit apprehensive to know why is he speaking like this. Of course, against their will, particularly my brother, he wrote the letter and put my name in, and I did send it to Prabhupada.
Sure.
So that's how Prabhupada accepted us, and that got initiated in Prabhupada at that time was in Kumbh in Allahabad, I think Prayag. So we got initiated there. And of course he sent the beads and the letter. He wrote something to it. We did not receive that. It's lost in the mail.
Sure.
The mail was not very.
You got the beats?
No, I did not get the beads too.
How did you come to know the name?
So then when Nalini Kanta, when he returned, he wrote to us, and of course he wrote that letter. We received in Singapore after a trip. We went on a journey to Malaysia up to Penang. We were going around preaching in all the places, and especially visiting that temple that Kamala Devi wanted to give to Prabhupada. And also the car where Prabhupada sat and was taken around. She had all that preserved. That was in Kuala Lumpur. Then we went to Tilo Anson, that's in Perak. And then we went to the temple in Ipoh where Prabhupada had a program.
Okay.
So we visited all these places that Prabhupada was, involved.
Nice.
We went to Penang, and then we returned back. That was our preaching expedition in late 1976.
6. Okay.
Because it was the end of the year, we all got holidays, nothing left around. We came back, and then I saw this letter in my house at very tree. I got initiated by Srila Prabhupada.
How was your feeling?
Because I was feeling very good because, Prabhupada, And then Nalini Kanta, he wrote the letter, and then he sent beads from LA, chanted by some Swami there.
I see. Okay.
That's how I got the beads and the letters, and got me connected. Srila Prabhupada.
1976 and then,
No, in the early 77.
okay.
Of course, he wrote also that Prabhupada was sick, and actually, from 77 onward, Prabhupada health was going down here.
Yes.
Prabhupada was not very so that was my connection to Prabhupada.
And then you mentioned about disappearance of Srila Prabhupada. So how did you get the news? How did it come to you? And what
I verify a telephone call. So someone called it was 14 November. I was still working. Of course, yes, so that time I went to the Gardenia temple there, and we all were started crying. We were going to see him in 78 actually.
That was my next question. So because you never knew this is going to happen, I think you must be very curious and enthusiastic to even see Prabhupada.
Oh yeah, we all were planning to go and visit him in 1978 March, and this news came in November. In fact, we actually bought a gift for Prabhupada, We all chipped in and we bought a pen, I remember, to offer to Prabhupada. 1976, 77, early February. But of course, I don't know, they may have received it or not, but definitely we were very much attached to him.
Hey, when you say we, who along with you also got initiated?
My brother.
I'm so sorry. I would like to know the name of your brother Bodhi if you like.
His name was Raja Prabhupada Gauraraj.
Lord.
And my name was Sundar, and he added Gopal Das. So two of us got connected. That was Thaipusam.
Yes.
Plus, it was a very auspicious moment in our spiritual journey, that connection and everything. Going after that, the turmoil that the society went through, if not for that connection, Prabhupada, I don't know whether I would have become a devotee or not.
Nice. And then, how did you feel by hearing that? It just like happens in a close succession, right? You had this thing coming in 1975, then 1976 or late 1976, you had the initiation, and Prabhupada is no more with you. And 1920, you must be having an ardent desire to meet Prabhupada down the line, and then you don't see him, and at that stage, we do understand that spiritual personality are forever, they're eternal. But at that point in time, we just had started. The conviction also would be like you would definitely rare to see Prabhupada, and he never had that. So, what is your emotional state, and how still stood so high?
Of course, on that day I was kind of felt very miserable. So I was crying all a full day practically. Prabhupada left. But then as you start reading and think again, the Vani message kind of inspires you. The same thing Arjuna felt also when Krishna left, when he met his brother Yudhishthira. Then he started explaining and he felt very miserable. But when he started hearing the messages, and his enthusiasm again kicked in.
Yes.
The same way, we're hearing Prabhupada. And of course, the next step was to follow what Prabhupada seemingly have said. He's actually the 11th so-called appointees. They became gurus. And I accepted it because if Prabhupada said they are gurus, that's how we went. Yes. I was thinking if Prabhupada even asked me to go to a dog and say, he's your guru, I would have accepted that because we were totally sold out to Prabhupada.
Yes.
We had no doubt to put it. So that was the beginning of our connection, strong connection with ISKCON, and that, of course, we were already connected with them, but this time we were representing them totally, because the other two persons were not fully ISKCON central.
Nice.
So then we broke away from them in 1978.
Yes.
And we started our own society that was we moved out Gardenia Road, and we opened a temple in Five Nights Bridge in Saleta.
Okay.
See?
And that was in the year
1978, yes. So then onwards we were, of course, I became the temple president, and I gave up my job in 1979 after a visit to India in March.
I'll pause there, Prabhu. So 1979, you quit your job.
I quit my job after I came back from Mayapur festival, That was in March. Gaur Purnima.
And what, if I may ask, what age would that be by then?
March 1979, I would have been I was 20 at 75.
Wow.
So I've been 24 or something.
So what led you to that decision that, economically and financially to sustain yourself, I'm sure the movement or the yatra would be good enough to keep up. But then, were you confident enough that you can do without finances and job?
Yes, we were selling books, and we were sustaining. So, because I decided to become full-time, to give my whole life to Prabhupada, I had no formal training. I don't know head and tail about running a temple. But as it's like on-job training.
Was it something that you were already contemplating, or it came by through your practice, or something really, really significant happened?
Because we were already doing in 76, 77, Mangala Arati or program. You learned all that too. Because these other two devotees were quite familiar with them.
Sure.
Because they were from Australia, Melbourne, I presume. So they introduced all the, procedures. In fact, I learned how to tie my dhoti from this two of them, I did not know how to wear a dhoti. So that's how we began. And then we took over in 79. We started doing our own temple, all activities, Mangala Arati, and then we picked up, slowly pointing up to the end. Started teaching about the establishing a proper temple. And mind you, all this was happening without proper legal registration and all. We were just doing it illegally, that's it.
And why do you say so? Why no legal endorsement is not there?
We did not have any registration, nothing.
Was it something we never wanted, or was something not in?
I did not know. When we tried to register the society in 79, we were rejected. We did not know why, because I guess We were feeling the pulse.
And we
were not allowed in.
And we were trying to register under the name of ISKCON.
No, under the name Society for Krishna Consciousness.
Okay. And why not? Could be ISKCON.
International, we didn't do that. We used the word international. We started with the name Society for Krishna Consciousness.
Okay.
Because, I don't know why, I guess we just tried. And they linked us in, and then that's it. We came under their microscope, and they were there knowing that we are part of the Hare Krishna miracle.
Sure. And of course, we had a lot of trouble, you know.
In Kentstridge, how is the journey in Kentstridge and the new movement? Now you are in the shoes of a formal temple president, so there's a lot of responsibility coming on to you. So how do you drive that in Kentstridge?
Well, the main thing was distributing books. And all my sisters and all the devotees, they used to go out to the temples to distribute the books, you know. And of course, we also journeyed to Malaysia to distribute books there also. So we were going in both countries, you know.
Sure.
And this way we were having Sunday program. And Sleta Air Base, our house was there. People had to come in and they had to surrender their document to go inside, you know. So that's not very, I would say, very attractive for people to come, because they have to surrender their passports or their documents and they go inside. So it's a little hassle, you know.
So
despite all the challenges, we still got devotees to come.
Yes. And you had your house in Kalang.
And no more. We moved out to the Sleta Air Base.
So this place in Kentbridge becomes your temple, institution as well as residence.
Yes.
You stayed there. Okay. And you
because
stayed.
then we were also doing loud kirtan and we were evicted.
Okay.
In 1979 we moved to 103 Wellington Road.
Wellington.
Yeah.
Wow. So
that was in Sembawang. So from Seletar we went to Sembawang and we started.
So this is second push again you're getting from this Kentbridge as well.
Yes.
Okay.
But this place you didn't have any much of a neighbor problem because it was a little bit isolated, you know.
Where? In Wellington too?
Yeah.
Okay. So just for audience to know, so I think the change of places have been happening in quick succession. First it was Gardenia Road, and all these places are local to Singapore. Then there's a move to Kentbridge, and then now Wellington Road. Just within a span of 1 year, 1 or 2 years max?
Yeah, 78 to 79 we moved. And from 79 to I think 82, when I finally closed the temple and went overseas.
Okay, that's in Wellington Road. Well, now by now in Wellington Road, how many more devotees or who were outside, whom we are preaching to, they joined in? Were there more?
1979, I would say we had more devotees, you know. Because we were preaching and Ansuduta came, he was the GBC of this area, the guru. So he came in 79 to Wellington Road and he gave, I think maybe not 79, maybe 1980.
Yeah.
And he gave initiation to all my family members. And he gave also initiation to some other devotees, you know. So we had quite a lot of people there.
So can we just say the Prabhupada's dream of establishing a Singapore temple actually manifested formally in Wellington Road, in that sense?
No, Prabhupada, of course, after Prabhupada left, I would say that was a starting point.
Yeah, because devotees were flying and coming to the place and giving initiation. So, nothing.
We were actually moving, you know.
There.
So of course it all stopped in 82 when I left. That itself is a very big story when I left. So in the interim we also were going to Malaysia periodically and doing book distribution there. And we were also locally going to all the local temples, preaching. And we were getting the exposure, by and by. Running a regular program, Mangalanti, taking worship. I think 1980 we got the Bornitai deities that are on the Oscar, and we got the Prabhupada on the altar, the little Prabhupada.
Yes.
Yeah, we all came 1980, yeah.
Yes. And that's in Gulipan?
Wellington Road.
On having
Yeah. We didn't get the big Krishna and all until later, but the little Prabhupada and Bornitai are there since 1980. Yes.
So how many devotees you can remember who joined you full time in Pamita?
Full time I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Mui. That's about it. 5 of us.
And when you specifically speak about
And also my family members, they also stayed in the
Yes.
temple with me. So my mother, father, and 5 sisters, 1 brother,
right,
So that was quite a
the
big team then.
yeah. Now, with all of this, what was your next challenge in Wellington Road? Any other setback that you face in Wellington Road?
Because my family left, they went to get a HDB flag.
When you say family, please specify who are they.
My mother and father and my 5 sisters, they left to stay on their own. So I was left with the devotees. One by one, 2 of them left. So I was left with only 1 devotee. Ambarish, his name was Ambarish. He was Catholic, he became a devotee.
Okay.
So we were only 2 of us then.
When you say they left, they were still associated. They were with the program. They were supporting.
They were devotees, yeah, they were devotees, but somehow or other they didn't want to become full-time.
Okay.
So then I was alone with the other devotee and we were pushing up. With that goal, we were doing sankirtan ourselves and going up. I would say the main real thing is that because this guru thing, was not, they were not getting much inspiration from their gurus, And Ansaduta, he had some, bad records, because that was not very inspirational. Actually, he was falling down. So that was one of the first experience of devotees with the gurus falling down,
Okay.
It was not a very healthy, I would say, consciousness. Wow. Of course, people were not very enthusiastic about that. So. And finally, in 1982, myself and Hansaduta, we had a showdown. Either it was me or him, So, because he is the GBC and the guru, so I decided to also leave him in 1982.
But all the while, when you say connection with to Swami was remotely being done, or he was here physically in Singapore?
He came, but 1981 or 82, I think he came in 82. So, but he was staying in another place, So they started opening a book printing company. And they had, I don't know, you have seen that small little black Bhagavatam.
Yes.
I think it's still there in our temple also. So he was printing that black Bhagavatam and he was selling it as parallel to the ISKCON DBT. So that did not go well, because it's competitive, they didn't like it. So we were trying to do many things like that against a bit separatist, you'd say. And plus he was also falling down. It's a broke principle. He was taking this, some kind of a drug, that is some jumping beads, and also taking alcohol. And all this, principles were broken. And finally he was trying to set up his own kind of a movement within the movement. And I saw that she's not in line with Prabhupada. Because earlier on in 1976 and 7, we knew that this party, the 2 of them were trying to go to Siddha Sarup again. It is not Prabhupada at all. So now Ansaduta was similarly doing something like that.
Okay.
And he was also getting drunk in a cough syrup, it was 50% alcohol. So seeing all this thing, I've kind of decided to, and I had Prabhupada had come in my dream and told me that you come with me. So then I decided to leave the setup. And he was trying to do the book printing with Tianhua Press,
Where was doing that? Here in Singapore?
Yeah, he was printing in Civic.
And was he kind of the authority then to GBC, affiliated with GBC by any chance? On some sort?
And Subhuta was guru, So when they become guru, they had so many independent kind of apologists. And they have their disciples and they have their, all their followers.
And he was staying in with you in Wellington?
No, he was staying in another place in Thompson Road somewhere. And he was trying to work. I mean, he was not recognizing us.
Sure.
And of course, he was trying to pull all these men who got initiated to his camp. And I was not his man because I am Prabhupada. So that, then in 1982, I decided to close the temple and leave for India.
I mean, that would be a very devastating and a point of inflection in your life where it's just build up of thing of nowhere, and now you're gradually losing.
Yes, we were on the crossroad. So I left for India. That's a whole story about that. I actually lost faith and I did not want to be a devotee anymore at that stage.
And what was that reason?
Because of him, with man.
But then Prabhupada, you never questioned the genuineness of Prabhupada. Movement had authenticity. It's just the person who brings in something completely misaligned with Prabhupada's principles.
See, that was how the movement, they appointed all these 11 gurus. And there was a crisis in the movement because all those who were Prabhupada disciples were sidelined, Because the gurus, they want to put all their men, work with their team, and they want to be their sole authority. Understand? So that's where the whole movement, not only on me, that when everywhere devotees were feeling a little bit, estranged.
Sure.
So that was kind of a difficult movement for many. Actually, many left it. Out of that 5,000 disciples, the Prabhupada, basically a good number left it.
When you say left who?
But it did not become part of the ISKCON movement
Process.
Yeah. I was not alone in that sense. There was a tremendous exodus for people leading the society. Because when Prabhupada was there, that's all we did, stay in the temple, did everything in the temple, even married in the temple, everything. So when Prabhupada left, I created a vacuum,
Yes.
They didn't want to align with their god brothers who were, trying to ask them to worship them, That's not, that not go very well with many of us. And Ansaduta was one of them. Was trying to get complete loyalty and kind of pushing us to surrender to him totally. Although I took second initiation from him, I never regarded that he is my guru. So their idea is to have complete control. They want everybody to become their disciple.
Yes.
See? So that was did not go very well, especially with me, because I only saw myself as a disciple of Prabhupada.
What is the last moment that made you give up? I mean, enough is enough. That it's not me.
We had a meeting with him, Ansaduta. He was there in Singapore at that time.
Sure.
We had a meeting. So in the meeting, he told me that either you surrender or you go back to your mother's. I said, I didn't say, but I think I gave my life to Prabhupada. And why I should go back to my mother? Who is he anyway? So that broke my faith completely. I used to say that this is the thing that broke the camel's back, the straw then broke the. So I decided to, call it off, that's it. So then I left, closed the temple, in Wellington Road. Practically, there's only two of us. There's nothing much left in the temple because of all this mismanagement and, no one says
There's not a single person standing beside you.
no. Every one of us work autonomously. So everyone has to, drive your own car. So I decided to leave the whole movement. I went to Kuala Lumpur to pick up this Ambarish. He was sent there. So he decided to join me. So we both journeyed all the way to Penang and then cross over to Thailand.
But why Thailand?
I wanted to go overland to India.
And why can't directly go to India?
I had a lot of time, I didn't want to spend on the airfare.
I see.
So I went to Thailand and then I went all the way north to Mesai at the border with Burma. I wanted to cross over and go overland to India.
And how you try to do that? Air.
So then when I went across in Burma, that I met some Indians, who spoke Tamil. They said it's dangerous to go on overland because overland is blocked, You can't do that.
So I just take a step back. You were aimless. You were hopeless. What to do next? You were completely back to your drawing board to understand what's going on in your life. Completely devastated, dismantled, and wanted to stitch back your faith in whatever you want to do. But you were lost.
No, I did not lose faith in the process.
You were still chanting.
I was chanting and carrying on my thing. That's something that I did not say I gave up. I will continue that spiritual discipline. I went to Bangkok. I did not want to go to the temple there. In fact, I did not take the address of the temple there. Went to the Lakshmi Narayan temple and I met at that time Ilapati. His name was Ilapati. Now his name is Bhaktivedanta Swami.
In Bangkok.
Bangkok, yeah. So he saw me and he said, hey, he was distributing books at the Lakshmi Narayan temple at that time. And he saw me and he said, hey, what are you doing here? I said, I'm just scan. Okay, I finished the distribution. We will go back to the temple.
So I put that. Here in Singapore, it won't be easy. What is the first destination that come to your mind? To India, to go back to India. India where?
I wanted to go to India, then go to Delhi. They have a bus at that time. Then it's called the Chapati Express. You pay $300 US, and you get a ride to London. So I wanted to join my brother in Sweden. You see, he was staying there. So that was my plan actually. So when I went to Bangkok, I didn't want to go to the temple, but here I'm forced again to the temple. The Krishna temple. He didn't want me to go.
So you were making stops before you land to India, right? Those stops were, first stop was
It was in Penang.
Penang. And how many days you stayed there?
I think a few days.
And all the time that you did was there, or?
So I was staying with some friends who were also devotees. And from there I went to Bangkok.
Right.
I didn't take the address. Again, Krishna, I had to go back to the temple.
Yes.
So I saw in the temple that disciples of various gurus were working cooperatively.
Okay.
There was stuff different from where I come from, where a person is very, I would say, separatist, But that, of course, it did not really, again, diminish my, what we say, will to leave, you see. So then I went up north, as I said, trying to cross over, and they told me it's dangerous because if you cross over without proper papers, you're going to get into trouble with it.
You never had visa when you say?
No, ASEAN countries don't require visa. So then I came back and wanted to fly to Calcutta. So in the plane, when I'm going in the plane, I saw the other devotee in the next seat, beside me. Hey, what are you doing? No, I'm going to Calcutta. Oh, I'm also going. The car will be waiting. We can book together to the temple again. So again, I was... Krishna never, gave me a chance to just lead, I did not know the plan of Krishna. Then in Calcutta, I didn't like the Calcutta temple because it's too austere. They had to take part in a pond nearby, so many pedants. And Bhakti Churu, I met Bhakti Churu there. He said that, hey, what you doing here? Well, he knows me. And he said, I'm going to Mayapur tomorrow, you can come with me? So, okay, that sounded better. So I went to Mayapur in the next day. He took me to Mayapur.
So there was change in plans. You were first of all heading to Delhi, but now you said met Bhaktivedanta Swami.
Because going to India, the cheapest is from Calcutta, go to Calcutta, to Bangkok to Calcutta is not a very expensive, journey. So then when I went to Mayapur, then of course I, saw Mayapur. This is the time when I spend more time because I had time, I had no more temples to run. So in Mayapur, I saw again how they all are working, how they are pushing on Prabhupada. And of course, they all wanted to get me in their service. I kind of did not give up the idea of going to Europe. So after some time, Jayapataka proposed that, Taka Swami proposed that I travel with him on this safari. He had this safari journey. So while he was proposing that, he got delayed. So after that Calcutta Rath Yatra, I came down to Tirupati actually, because I had a friend there, name was Shankar Bhatt. I had ordered incense from him, and I sent the money, but he did not send the goods. So I thought that I can collect all that kind of money because I need funds, to go on the journey in case that I had some problems.
Sure. How did they receive you? Because they definitely knew about what was going on in your life, and maybe by your own mouth you would have said that. And there were disagreements with Hamsavita. So how did that? How was it received by them? By Bhaktivedanta Swami and then Jayapataka?
They were very supportive, because they all know what Hamsatuta was doing. They were actually not in favor of him, most of them. So they were trying to kind of, what we say, pacify me, try to help me, come back to the fold. Yes, because I was a leader in Singapore,
Yes.
it's an important place in the world. Because they all knew the pain of struggles we are going through. Prabhupada was not allowed in, so many suppression in our regular society. So they also know, because when they ever go through Singapore with the dress, they're stopped, They're not allowed inside. So that stricture was there.
Yes.
So with all these hardships and everything, but they knew me also. So they were very supportive of me. They wanted to help me.
They knew that you had potential, and they knew you all of that time. So you were a known person.
Yes. They want good men, Put it in short. I'm not so good, but at least they wanted to get men in their force.
Yes.
So then when I waited for Jayapataka in Mayapur, he was taking his time. I decided to come down. I went to Tirupati, tried to, but I find that he was not financially, able to repay what we...
To buy Tirupati. What happened in Tirupati?
Because Santa Bhatt was my friend also. He visited Singapore, and he said that I can send you incense and all, and I paid for it for that. And he did not send, you see. So there was some credit for me, which he could not fulfill that amount. Then I took my train to Bombay. In Bombay, I was trying to get the visa to go into Iran and then go to Europe. So you need visa for Iran.
But then we had this association with Jayapataka Swami and then Kichara Swami, and they had plans for you in Mayapur. Then why again you still were insisting to travel?
I was not convinced. So I went to Bombay. They said that the embassy, the Iranian embassy, is there in Delhi. So that's when I had to go to Delhi.
What was that were not convinced? What was that were not convinced?
I was not, my mind was not accepting, Jayapataka or Bhakti. But teacher at that time he was not Guru, yeah?
Okay.
Only the Latin. So I left to Delhi, and there the Iranian embassy, they said you need to wait for 8 to 12 weeks for your visa. Because at that time there was an American four-stage crisis. The embassy was seized, you know. So Iran was going through its radical change from
Yes.
a free country to Islam kind of a center. So I said, okay, I'll put in the application. Then I went back to Delhi. So in Delhi, the devotees were saying, you will stay here, you have to do some kind of service. You know? And my mind was not into any service. So that's when I met Bhaktivedanta Swami, an Italian Swami, my God brother. He knew me also. He said, why don't you come and travel with me? And that's when I went down to travel with him in Karnataka. Hubli, Darwa. I landed in Darwa actually, and then joined his traveling party. Because I had to wait 8 to 12 weeks. So I had no choice. So I had to go, okay, I joined this party and you were traveling all over Karnataka, you know, selling, making life members. So I was doing that.
You're completely nomadic and traveling all around.
Yeah, then when we, of course, at that time also Madhu Pandit came to join the party. That was in 1982, maybe. Then we were traveling and making members and all. And after some time, I became again, you know, disheartened.
Okay.
Because I was not, you know, my mind was still not so convinced about, you know, I still wanted to go to Europe, you know. And that's when Bhaktivedanta Swarup told me that Tamal Krishna is coming down to South India. You want to travel in South India, why don't you go and travel with him?
Were you in that 12 weeks of waiting period?
Yeah. Because I was going to go anyway, you know, and he said, no, Tamal is coming, why don't you travel with him? So when Tamal came, we were traveling South India, visiting all the temples, you know, traveling with him, going to all the places.
But that shouldn't inspire you because you were never in favor of meeting, that you're not convinced with this new legacy of gurus, right? So what inspired again to still look forward to meet Kamal Krishna Maharaj?
I mean, I guess I'm still kind of waiting. He said that maybe you can talk to him, you know.
Yeah.
We can
Express yourself.
So while we were traveling, then Tamal proposed to me that why don't you come to the States and work with me? So that got me in. So I said, well, okay, I'll come to America. So then I decided to get my visa to the States.
You met Kamal Krishna Maharaj in Karnataka?
Yeah, I met him in South India. But when I got to know him,
What is the expression? What was the first impression?
well, I guess, you know, he was, I mean, it was nice with not, you know, and of course, got this strong authoritarian kind of a character. So I went, okay, instead of going to Sweden, I will go to America. So I want to do, I mean, actually more than Tamal, there was, it is other devotee were traveling with him. And his name was, what was his name? Pasupati. His name was Pasupati Prabhu. So he kind of, we got along very well, you know. They were very close actually. But, so based on that kind of association, I decided to go to America. Because he was doing a project of building the temple there in Houston and Dallas. So he invited me naturally to come to America.
Okay. So they had an answer for you. And all the logistics, the visa, how was that achieved? I mean, was it very easy for you to get a visa then? And with please?
Not actually. It was very difficult to get the visa. I went first to Hong Kong to get the visa, but it was refused. And then I went back to Singapore. I came back here for 1 month. I stayed with my mothers. She was actually praying to see me again. So, and he stayed with her for months.
But when you left for Singapore, I think the family would be like thinking about your whereabouts. And did you ever mention then that you're coming back?
No. I was in India and they were here. And just occasionally I called. Because they let me do what I want to do. And plus they already left the temple and they were staying on their own, you know. And of course my mother's desire, she... Okay. So I came back. But again my visa was refused, you know.
You applied from Singapore.
Huh?
You applied from Singapore.
Yeah. Because they say you must apply from your country of origin.
Maybe.
Okay. So then I had to return back after a month back to India. So I went to India and then I tried from India. And fortunately I got the visa from India. And I went to America. So while going to America, I read in the newspaper that Hansadutta was excommunicated June 1982. 1983. I was in India for 1 year and a half. And
Before getting the visa.
yeah. So I was traveling all over India at the time.
Under whose guidance?
I was with Bhaktivedanta Swami. And then Jayapataka engaged me as a, in the BBT of South India. I printed some Kannada books also, pamphlets and all. Yes, some service. He wanted to keep me there with him, you see.
What is the place in Canada? Sorry, I missed that. The place where you were there?
We were traveling all over, all the cities. We were in Hubli, Dharwad, Shimoga, Hassan, Goa. No, we were all over. I think I tell more places than some Indians have done. So then when I finally wanted to leave India to America, then I read in the newspaper that Hansadutta has been excommunicated. So then I decided whether I should go back to Singapore or should I go to America.
Please explain excommunicated.
That means he was kicked out. He fell down and he lost his position as Guru and already finished.
And that happened while he was in Singapore?
No, it happened when he went to America. That's his base, you know. I think Berkeley was his base.
So when you left and Hamsadutta was still prevailing in Singapore, so
No, he was in a short time. Not there. He was just briefly there.
So Singapore, I would say, was orphaned at that point in time. No one was there to take care of.
Practically, there was nothing much. Except for a few devotees doing the printing work of the books at the body. So then, when I called that better, I go to America because Prabhupada preached in America and India mostly, you know. So I wanted to see that part of his preaching now. So it was an opportunity.
Yes.
So then I left India and then went to America in 1983, maybe June to run.
And you were in correspondence with Krishna Dinta. Because you persuaded to
Say not with him directly, but with the devotees that he's deputed to do. So I was supposed to go and join the Houston temple, which I did anyway. Because I met Pasupati, he was there. And then I was given the role of taking care of the Indian affairs, you know. So we were doing that, and cultivating the Indians and preaching to the Indians. So as well as doing that, we were, there were a lot of Patel Gujarati community mostly. And we were giving classes, going house programs, kind of inspiring them to, because what happened is that in Houston temple, His Pasupati, who was supposed to be the architect and engineer, he left with the container full of tools worth about $60,000. And that money was donated by the Indian community. So I'm coming in, and this man left a bit Indian. You see how the PR have to handle it.
Yeah.
And not only that, he tore down the load-bearing walls of that four-story building above. So the top floor, he took down the load-bearing walls. He's supposed to make that into some kind of a temple, this and that. So the authorities, and only did this without any permission from the municipal authority, you know. So one day, one of them were driving by and they saw all this work going on, and they went in and checked, and then found out that we were doing things all illegally. You know?
Okay.
So they gave us 24 hours to sort it out, or they would close the electricity and the power lines and the gas lines. And so mind you, we were running the temple. And this is the kind of situation that I'm walking in, you know. You understand? India, the burned out, the building is going to close down.
So I take a pause and
You've been, this was supposedly Tamal Krishna's expert management.
in America.
I know, so of course I had to, Tamal called me up and say, please, can you help sort this out? Because I knew, I was trained as an electrical engineer.
Yeah.
I know about that. What I was working with in Singapore prior to my joining full time.
You take a step back. When you were on the flight to America, what was going in your mind? In retrospect, I would say, what was Krishna teaching you all the while? And if at all, if I may ask, was it something that you were introspecting that you could have done something different? The mistakes that you may have, or you were completely steadfast and completely left the reins in the hands of
I
Krishna?
left the idea of going to join my brother when I went to America, because I wanted to see how Prabhupada preached in America.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see, Krishna was kind of he was not letting me go.
That's for sure.
See, so he put me in all these situations that I had no chance to slip out.
Absolutely.
That God says mercy on me, I guess. Prabhupada. When I went to America in this situation, then of course with that background, I had to go to the town office, and they say you present the plan, put back the walls, you know. So then Tamal, you know, he appointed me to sort this problem out. But so I asked around, and one boy had some architectural training, so we started drawing the drawings again, putting back the walls, you know, and then submitted to the town office. They approved it.
Okay.
And then we started rebuilding the whole thing, put out the walls and everything.
Okay. So you negotiated.
I was kind of in charge of that, you know. But as I was doing that, he also appointed me in Dallas, so I had to go frequently to Dallas also to take care of the Indian community there, because we are trying to establish the extended congregation.
Yes.
So as I was doing back and forth shuttling to Dallas, and also he offered me the farm to take care of the farm, that the 1,400 acres of land. Yeah. So that place, you know, you have to do the master plan and one other piece, you know. He had some knowledge. He was trying to, redo the whole place, you know.
So I can see he's pushing you to a quite pivotal role eventually. You're leaning on a lot upon your shoulders.
I was one of the, being a proper disciple. I tried to.
Did you ever get carried away by personal accomplishments when you were getting recognized by your capabilities?
I would say initially when I went there, Tamal, he wanted to make me disciple. Because since I was second initiated by Hans Luther, he wanted to reinitiate me.
Yes.
Of course, I did not go for that. Remember, he was in Dallas. He had me in the room and he was kind of grilling me, that you must, surrender to me. I said, no, my heart is small. I only have room for Prabhupada. Then he says, your heart is so small, you have room for only Prabhupada? I said, yes. He said, no, all devotees of ISKCON should be reinitiated. I said, what? I was shocked with his statement. Can you see how desperate they were? How they want to control
Rebranding was
everything they wanted to have complete control. A kind of statement he made at me. This is something not that I kind of heard second or third, and it was what he told me directly in my face. I didn't buy for it. I didn't fall for that. So of course, nevertheless, he engaged me, and I was doing the service, blah. But I was not fully, you can say, peace man. I never was.
But that could have been a very comfortable choice for you, given the illustrious work, the following, and all of that would have come your way. You how could you just have that level of faith that
But eventually they made me the president of Houston Temple. Because the president Pandu Vijay, he got some kind of sickness, so they had to get another person. And then Gopal Das became, and then he left, and they asked me to take over the.
amidst all these disagreements, still you prevailed?
1.5 years I was there.
True.
So then while I was there taking care of the whole thing, doing the preaching and doing mainly Sunday program, because Sankirtan is done by the white devotees, they go to the mall, they sell the paintings and all that.
Yes.
So while this was all happening, I think this was towards 1984. Yes. So I was talking to one of the next door owner of the next door property. She used to come to our temple to use the phone. Her name was Dixie Houston. So I asked her casually, if you want to sell this building, how much you would like to buy it? Yeah, I will pay $75,000 for that. Oh, I see that I kept in my mind. So then I told the local Indian devotees who are obligation matters. So then we had a meeting in 1984, and in that meeting, they were proposing to sell this building, and buy another place and move there. So I was at that time already in my mind, I wanted to leave and go back to Singapore. 1984 is the year also that Indira Gandhi got assassinated.
But why Singapore? You said that you want to join your brothers.
See, that's how my mind, Krishna kind of, took the desire to leave his God and go back, again, preach Krishna consciousness in Singapore.
So can we say you got those energy and you got your faith back in America, or all the while that you have been traveling throughout, you were gay?
No, gradually when I went to America, I dropped the idea of leaving, I started, working.
Reinstated.
Yeah, because there's also so many activities in the ISKCON temple that how Prabhupada was preaching and how he put in programs.
Sure.
You saw how they did Janmashtami, how they, burn up temple, Sankirtan, so many things.
So you're not equipped with all practical
In
knowledge.
fact, I learned how to make chapatis in Houston temple. I didn't know how to make chapatis. See, there's so many things to learn also.
Yes.
And of course, in Houston temple, the deities, there, Radha Madha Mohan, the small deities, they came to me there at that temple. So then I was worshipping them and carrying wherever I go. So now the Akira was, I would say, a very inspiring moment, because I went to the time we had Janmashtami. Actually, they came on Janmashtami day. I was going down to, we had a pandal program, and they wanted a small table. They brought in my room, so I went to go and pick it up. I went to my room, pick it up. I saw these deities on the shelves, they were standing. I was shocked, the key to my room was almost me.
That's in America?
I was in Houston, that's to 1983. Janmashtami.
Before you left to Singapore.
That was when I was in Houston.
Yeah.
So the deities came to me. I take it as They have come. And now they are here in our temple.
We'll expand on the journey. We'll not leave you just with that short note about there's a very relishable and very beautiful story behind how the deities landed onto Singapore. But before that, so that was America, and then you were fixed up in your mind that you could go back to Singapore, revive the whole thing.
1984, I was a little tired working with Tamal, you know. Actually, I was not very happy. So I wanted to go back. So in that meeting, they told Tamal, he was there, that the Dixie Houston is selling to 75,000. So he said, okay, let me sell this place. And then asked me whether I want to take care of the negotiations. I said, no, I'm going away. So they took over, and then I left in 1984. I think sometime in December, went back to India.
India first?
Because I did my Mayapur festival was there, no?
Okay.
So I went there, then from there I returned back. She wasn't born.
You had always the desire to meet your brother.
No, then I didn't have any more. I came back.
Yes. Where he came to Singapore? Where did you come to Singapore? Where did you stay?
I, of course, had a choice. My family, my mother and father were there. But I did not go and stay with them because that will be contrary to the preaching, you know, that you stay at home and try to do. A little difficult.
Sure.
So when I came back, I stayed in one of my friend's house, actually. I stayed in Topayo for maybe a month. Then I had to rent a place, Jalan Tuan, near Thompson, you know, for a month. Then I moved to Spottiswoode Park.
And all the while, where you had this finances, how do you even sustain all of that?
I was at that time selling this paintings, you know. And with that money, I was kind of trying to. Then I was preaching also, and devotees, so former devotee, whoever knew, all came back one by one. And they were giving a contribution, and then I was running. Then when I moved to Spottiswoode Park, I guess the owner let me stay, you know.
Yes.
That's when I really started moving forward. Then I opened a shop, Govinda's Kids, in Mustafa Plaza now. At that time it was called Serenum Plaza. So the Govinda's Gift was my front to do my
Yes.
preaching acting.
And who were with you?
At that time, I was alone. Then of course the devotees who were working, they came to help me around. Mostly I work alone.
Right.
Pushing on the movement, cooking. Food was provided to me by my mother and father. My father would carry the prasadam every day, and I'll eat one time, and that's about it. And then moving on.
Wow.
70 days when I came back.
And then what is the next, the significant milestone after coming back to Singapore? And then you had this Govinda set up. Who came, as a ray of hope, or somewhere you felt that the company that,
No, I invited Ambarish to come back. He was staying in India. He was in the Fada Yatra, you know. So I asked him to come back to him, and he came back.
Okay.
And then my wife joined me also. So there are three of us.
Okay, we need to know more about when Mataji or your wife came into the picture. What was that equation like, and when did it manifest? You were all traveling around.
All this came through Govinda's, you know. And I was running this Govinda's gift shop, no? Here the Serangoon Plaza. So people come to see the book, buy course,
Sure.
preaching.
Sure.
But we're making the movies there. And you're running Sunday program, you know. So, and then Tamal came again. He initiated some people. So started, expanded.
You never burned your bridges with GBC or the authority. No, it's on. You still were in touch.
I was an ISKCON regular devotee.
Sure.
So when I was going to Singapore, and Tamang said, then I will also be the GPC there. I do, that's your choice. I didn't care whether you become GPC or ADC. I was going back to preach. That's my desire. So, well, the initiation temple, like this, anywhere I was preaching, and I think there are some pictures that you can see.
Sure.
And then I started having to go for book fairs. And going book fairs, selling books, And in this way, one activity or the other, slowly the temple grew.
Sure. I'll be a little greedy.
Because when I left in 82, I was not fully exposed to the preaching techniques and management of all, because I just did it mostly on, whatever little I knew. But staying in India for 1.5 years, staying in America again for 1.5 years,
Yes.
that gave me another exposure how to manage, run those things. So now I'm back again. Now I have tremendous challenge. The first challenge was to get some kind of registration. So when I tried to open Bhaktivedanta books, that was rejected by the authorities. They didn't allow me to register the name.
But the books printing was still going on in Singapore, but under a different banner by Hamsadutta, which had started.
No, they were doing that all finished. It's all
But that was not registered.
no.
Okay.
They were not registered in Singapore. They were using the Philippines company and something. Actually, they didn't have any registration. It just them were press, print up the books and they got it and we would try.
Sure.
There's a call. So when I came back and I tried to register the society, the company, I couldn't get that. Then, of course, I opened Govinda's gift. That was allowed.
Okay.
So I started working with that. That's, it's one thing after the other. Fairs, preaching, bodies. Then I moved from there to another place, Jalan Sungilon. That's in Thompson Road. Did that mostly. Again, 2 of us. I think my wife joined me when I moved to Bristol Road.
When was your marriage? What was the year of the marriage? And
My marriage was in 1989, I think. She came in 1986, I think.
86.
So she was helping a lot. She was also cooking and everything.
Please enlighten with the name of Mataji.
Her name was Chandra Devi. So she was actually from London. She was Singaporean, but she was working with SIA in London.
Okay.
She was one of the station secretary. Then she when she comes here frequently, but then she came through Govinda's gift, she saw the book and all, she started reading in the beginning. Because she would come every day, helping up here and there. So we met on her. It was in when we moved from Sembilang to Bristol Road, and she also coming there more frequently. And from Bristol Road, we then went to Bencoolen, and that was the big change, 1988. And our movement was,
Prominent.
Yes, was substantial. The many devotees joined. The 5th floor of the place is still there, you can see. And maybe I had pictures also. Bencoolen. That's my wife there. So you can see how we were getting more established,
Yes.
and doing bigger programs. Okay? So that we were doing one very big festival that was burning of Ravana. Dussehra, I guess. So when we did that, that stirred the mind of the authorities here more.
I mean,
The
What
Indian
was the size?
community didn't like it because Ravana was being fun, and they think Ravana was the South Indian king,
Yeah.
and been killed by a North Indian god. It didn't go well in their chemistry.
And what could you just explain the size and how illustrious was the?
It was a very big festival. Singapore tourism board came, to witness that also.
First of its kind, I believe.
Yeah, about 30 feet tall, 10 gates.
And whose idea was that?
That was actually our idea for sure. And they actually asked us to stop doing it. They don't do it, And we went ahead, and because Bencoolen, beside there was a very big field, Now, of course, the buildings all up.
Sure,
But
yes.
they do nothing there except
Yeah.
open field, So when we did that thing, it was, of course, very successful. Many people came and saw the fireworks and everything. But it didn't go well with our government and the Indian community. So I was called it by the local CID, this is actually the ISD, the Internal Security Department. So I was asked to come to the CID building in Tokinson Road. Now that's a Republic Plaza, I think that's there. So that's down in this building is there. So in that meeting, there were so many officers, and I was there. If my wife and the secretary, we were 10 of us called in, and we were censured actually. So they read their thing. They said that you have performed this. Dussehra, it is a South Indian king being killed by a North Indian god, Now you can do all these things, this is not very good. So then after they finished, they asked that you understand that. I said, can I ask some questions? So what question? Yes, you can ask this, no problem. Then I said, what about Deepavali? They were stunned, They looked at each other. They could not. What's wrong with Deepavali? You can explain? I said, the same South Indian king being killed by the North Indian god is a public holiday and you celebrate it. So then they say, no, you cannot ask this question. We just want you to do what we want to do.
That was a brilliant one.
I say, okay, that's it. Then I accepted. I'll do what I want to do. Not what I want to do. I will do what you want me to do. But that was a slap in their face,
But how can you amass such courage and you never even take permission and you just went on because you just wanted to preach and make things, scale things to the next level, and that was very phenomenal to bring such an event. Never ever happened in Singapore, and has never happened even after that actually.
See, the thing is that I had the guts, I was not fearing. I just wanted to do.
Yeah.
Prabhupada's mercy. So when I did it, climb me down. Hey, no problem. What the most they will do, just warn you, Didn't commit a big crime or what. Didn't murder people or something. Because I did not go well in their books, that's for sure.
Yes.
That was so.
And that was your first.
But then I had no choice, because I was already not good in their books because of whatever happened with Prabhupada and everybody. You understand? They were not looking at our society favorably. In fact, they don't want us to exist. So put in the, like anything, you put in the corner, what you will do, Either you fight or you don't. Or you succumb or you close and then you go there. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to put a Christian consciousness here in Singapore. That was my determination.
So you had setbacks after setbacks. Devotees leaving away. In fact, the first Prabhupada disappearance, and then change of faith, no system coming into place. You have to quit Singapore with no aim, travel around, find a place to take shelter, and seen the same thing again and again in various strictures, very hard. I had no choice but to accept a new legacy guru. And then the government in Singapore was not conducive, not supportive, no money in hand, all the while, and then coming back to Singapore again. For what gift? See the trend that I have nothing in my favor, I'm working much,
and still I have something that I can still do. All the while, what has been, by and by, you garner support, you garner faith, and then it shatters, and then again you try and you bounce back, and then again you try to do something really, really, adventurous like this, what you just said. How you keep up that kind of a spirit that, live on and on?
I guess due to the surrender to Prabhu. I had nothing else to do, You see. So I wanted to reach Krishna consciousness, which you were also doing. We had programs, we had everything going on. In Benkulan, we actually opened a restaurant right on the 5th floor. People did come there. See, so we were doing many things, you see. So we tried to do this, it was not. And I think we also, of course, when we moved to Mountbatten Road from Benkulan, and we started doing Ratha Yatra.
Before you come, what led you to go to Mount Gaki? What happened?
See, this place that we were staying in Benkulan, they gave us an ultimatum because the bank wanted us to buy the place and do your activities there or move out. So it was costing only $15,000. But I didn't have $15,000. So I had no choice but to move.
Obviously.
So when I went to Mountbatten, somehow or other we bought that for 2.1 million.
Oh,
That was another whole story about it. There's a whole challenge. I think, I don't know if we have time in this podcast so far. So, of course, Benkulan was very challenging. We met a lot of devotees. And there was no lift. We had to carry 5 floors, all our items.
in Benkulan or Mountbatten?
Benkulan. We were jumping so much that the labor below, the lamps started falling completely. So it was, of course, we had a lot of young boys and men, no problem. I was also staying there. Mahaprabhu was actually born there.
Please introduce who is Mahaprabhu.
Mahaprabhu is my son. So he was born there actually in Benkulan, 1990. And that's when also I got the vision of the deities of ours, presently Radha Madhmahan, the big deities.
When you say vision, please elaborate.
Well, in one day while I was kind of lying down in the office of that place, and I had this vision that Krishna was coming to the door, and I was bright, Krishna is coming, and I saw Krishna, and then I was very, I would say, of course, see Krishna, you are very, you're very happy. But then I immediately in my mind, I thought I'm here alone, particularly I want to look out for you, my dear Lord. Then the Lord was looking this way at the back and there thousands of devotees behind you. Then I looked at Prabhupada and I felt very happy. So that was inspiration. Krishna came. And then I was thinking, Krishna came, the way Radharani, she will not come. And sure enough, 1 week later, she also came. And then now they are there on the altar, standing there.
We see. How did the deities actually, okay, we can have a different discussion, but in brief, where did you find them and how you brought the knowledge?
In Benkulan Street, we have some kind of an altar-like setup, Because the deities there were the small deities.
Utsamika.
And I had Jagannath and Gaurnitai. The Gaurnitai was the one that 1980 I got, very Prabhupada. So we were worshipping the small altar. But we had an altar, quite rock size. So one devotee from India came by and he said, hey, your place needs a big deity room. I have them in Delhi. I'll send them to you.
Delhi.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't tell him, what color deity came, white color, black. Sometimes Krishna is white,
Yes.
I didn't say nothing. So he shipped them from Delhi to Singapore. So when I went to receive them, this happened when I moved to Mountbatten. When I opened the box, I saw that it was the same Krishna that became in my vision. So it's all the deities here. Who them is gathered. We installed them in Mountbatten Road. When we missed out the Bangalore Road, we asked in Mountbatten. I think it was in November 1991, November. Went to Mountbatten. From Mountbatten again, another old story. There's so many things to explain. While I was in Bencoolen in 1989, this government started closing Orchard Road,
Orchard Road.
and they use it as a people can freely walk. So on New Year's Day in 1989, they closed the street, and I took that chance to do a Harinam there.
And so,
So I did Harinam Sankirtan in Orchard Road at that day.
is it that the one that made it to the tabloid?
Yes, it was. Next day it came out on the newspaper.
And it was received well, I do.
Oh yeah, the chanting and dancing. That was, I would say, a momentous
Yes.
10 hour, 2 ourselves in the back.
Yes.
So little thing by this, it encourages us to move to the next step.
Yeah.
Next step. And I did not have any time a feeling that I should again close down, and no, I didn't have that.
And you completely reinvigorated yourself.
Yeah, completely. So totally fired up, I would say. Moving one thing, doing another thing.
What was your team size there? What was the team size? So how many people you had on the side?
I
Approximately.
think we had quite a lot of people in maybe 100, 200 people.
Oh.
We were going, And of course, at that time, there was only me. There were no other groups around and anything.
Yes.
So we were the only camper, the boys. But then when we moved to Mountbatten, then there's another whole chapter in our history. He bought the place, not the place. $2.1 million. Then he rose to $7 million. So that thing was I guess I will have to explain that in another story.
Yes. They're so engaging. I'm sure that everybody would take a lot of inspiration from what has been heard so far. And there's more to come. I'm sure we will bring Prabhu on board again and hear from him. There's a lot coming in actually. There's lots of events, incidents, and amazing story that people would take back from generally.
In Bencoolen also we started this program of going to Pasipanya market to collect vegetables.
That was the place.
And also we got a van donated.
Yeah.
So things started happening, and like that activity of collecting free vegetables is going on even up now today.
Yes.
So you see, every year something happens.
Yes.
Something happens.
Yes.
It all builds up.
Yeah. There's one person, one thinking, and there's one person backing it everywhere. So thank you very much to Prabhuji. Very, very kind and very, very generous of you to share all of your, very, very precious and golden memories. Definitely would work a long way for many of the devotees that will be, as the first time they're hearing from you. Thank you for your kind one. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for having me. Hare Krishna. I hope this will contribute to the beginning of Krishna consciousness and how Krishna consciousness is established here in Singapore. I mean, we're very difficult countries in the world. So thank you then. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.